I'm not lost. I'm right here, right? You'll always know where to find me, okay?
You have to let me go.
If there's one thing in today's pop culture that people love to feel nostalgic about, it's the 1980s. I myself wasn't alive in the 80s, so I can't really feel nostalgic for it. However, there is a lot of media and things that I do love from the 80s. This includes slasher films. If you haven't noticed, this channel is a horror channel, horror film channel specifically, and it actually got its start by doing Friday the 13th. Today's movie that we're going to be talking about kind of is a love letter to films like Friday the 13th, kind of The Burning as well. If I had to describe the movie that we're going to be talking about, I would say Wizard of Oz and Back to the Future had a baby with Friday the 13th and The Burning. So do with that as you will. Before we go any further and we get into the film, I will say major spoilers ahead. I will be reviewing and breaking down the whole entire movie in its entirety, so I highly recommend going to watch it first if you haven't already. In the description will be links to Amazon to buy the film. You can also go stream it online. However, I don't believe it's streaming for free anywhere through any service. So I would recommend just buying the Blu-ray. With that all out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about The Final Girls. The film follows Max Cartwright, a teenager who recently has lost her mother due to a car accident. Her mom was an actress who is known for being in a 1986 slasher called Camp Bloodbath, which is now a cult classic. The Final Girls does a good job of establishing the bond between Max and her mom early on, and I believe it pays off in the end. It really helps that Thaisa Farmiga playing Max and Malin Akerman, who is playing Nancy, play off each other very well. On the third anniversary of Max's mom's death, she is still grieving and trying to keeping on. Gertie is her best friend, and the two meet a boy named Chris, who is helping Max study. Duncan is Gertie's brother.
Stepsister.
Why'd you say that? That's so hurtful. Please.
And is a fan of Camp Bloodbath and convinces Max to come to a double feature of Camp Bloodbath and Camp Bloodbath 2 as a special guest, since she is related to one of the actors, being her mom. At the showing, Chris's ex-girlfriend Vicky, who happens to also be Max's ex-best friend, is there as well. A series of events cause the theater to catch on fire, so our five main characters cut through the screen and go through it to try to get to safety. They all wake up together and realize they are now in the movie Camp Bloodbath. They decide to follow with the events of the film, using Duncan as sort of a guide since he's the expert on the film. Max's mom, who is a character in the movie named Nancy, is there with them as well. The group believes since they aren't movie characters, they can't be killed by the slasher of the film, whose name is Billy. Billy is basically a Jason Voorhees surrogate, even with similar cue music. They witness Billy kill the first two victims of the film, the same way it happens in the movie. Duncan, being a big old fanboy, tries taking a selfie with Billy, but is sliced in the side by Billy's machete. Now knowing that Billy can hurt them, they try to stop the cast of the characters from having sex, since that's what makes Billy show up to kill people. Although, in the film it also implies just being nude or anything like that makes Billy show up. Max talks with Nancy and decides she's going to try to make her survive, since her character is meant to die in the film. I realized I haven't really talked about the new characters introduced yet, so I'll just go over them briefly. I mentioned Nancy, who is played by Max's mom. We also have Kurt, who is a douche-like character who just wants to have sex. He's played by Adam Devine, who is truly hilarious in this role. The director of this movie is actually working with him again on the Pitch Perfect spin-off Bumper in Berlin, which I think is pretty cool. Tina is another character who's there and just wants to dance and get naked. The character of Blake is kind of just there. He doesn't really add or take away anything from the film, but I do wish there was more scenes with him. He's very charming in the few we have, and he interacts with Gertie a lot, and they kind of have a little relationship. However, other than that, he's kind of just there, and it's very unfortunate in my opinion. But that's really my only nitpick with the film. Paula is the badass virgin who is the final girl of Camp Bloodbath. Before Duncan got attacked with the machete, he told the group that she's the only one who can kill Billy in the film. Gertie sees Billy from her window and then brings him up to the rest of the group, which triggers all the movie characters to gather around Nancy as she tells them the origin story of Billy. Our main characters enter into the flashback that Nancy is telling with this cool goo-like effect. I do want to say that this movie has a lot of style. This feels like someone had a vision and just made the movie they wanted to make, and it's truly inspiring, at least to me. In the flashback, Billy is bullied as a kid and has firecrackers thrown onto him while he's locked in an outhouse. This causes him to get third-degree burns, and he murders all the kids at the summer camp. When Billy kills one of the kids, blood gets on Gertie's face in the flashback, and when they come back to 1986 after the story's done being told, the blood is still on her face. The movie characters see this and they all panic and try to leave. Kurt and Paula get into her car and drive off really fast. They run into Duncan, who happens to just still be alive. And Adam Devine gets to be funny some more.
Oh, you killed Duncan! Let's just go to a hotel and just relax for the night, and maybe we could get into something.
And Kurt is thrown from the vehicle and dies. The car then blows up, killing Paula. Since Paula was the final girl and the virgin of the movie, it means she was the only one who could kill Billy. The group elects Max as the new final girl, since she is also a virgin, and the group comes up with a plan to get Billy's machete so Max can use it to kill him. Their plan includes Tina doing a striptease to get Billy's attention and lure him back to the cabin. When Billy does show up, Tina panics and runs inside, falling face first into a bear trap, which was meant for Billy, and it kills her. They trap Billy for a moment, but he kills Blake and we get some amazing camera movement. There are a lot of shots and scenes where the camera just glides and does its thing, and it's very impressive. Chris, Nancy, and Max are able to escape from the cabin while Gertie and Vicky sacrifice themselves to hold Billy back. Billy isn't slowed down though, and we get this amazing slow-mo sequence. It's visually stunning. He keeps pursuing the three final survivors, and Chris is stabbed by Billy, and Nancy is kidnapped. Max and Chris hide in a nearby chapel where Max tells Chris she's going to go find Nancy. In a previous flashback, it was revealed that Billy's hideout was in an old barn, so Max makes her way there and she finds Nancy. Max is stabbed, but the two escape back to the chapel. Nancy knows the only way for Max to live is if she is truly the final girl. Max reveals in the real world that Nancy is her mom, and the two say their goodbyes.
I love you.
The acting in this scene is incredible and actually had me crying. You truly believe Max is talking to her mom one more time, and it's sad. Nancy goes outside the chapel, and Max watches as she does a mild striptease and dances to Kim Carnes' Betty Davis Eyes.
Her hair is hollow gold.
Which was established to be Max and her mom's song in the beginning. The scene is shot wonderfully and is just really powerful and beautiful. The framing of Max sitting and watching Nancy through the doorway always gets me, especially this little smile right here. Billy eventually does come and kills Nancy. In doing so, Max gets a second wind and has a newfound strength. She fights Billy with his own machete and decapitates him after a tough showdown. The credits for Camp Bloodbath play in the sky, which I really like. It's just a nice touch. Chris is still alive and walks to Max, and the two kiss. The film reel for the movie ends and the two wake up in a hospital. Duncan, Gertie, and Vicky are also there, still alive. Duncan shows his scars from the machete attack, proving what happened was real. They realize they are still in a movie when Billy's cue plays. They check the hospital hallway where Duncan realizes they are now in Camp Bloodbath 2. Billy crashes through the doors of the hospital and Max prepares to face him again. Alright, and that was The Final Girls. As you may have noticed, I'm in a completely different outfit than the beginning. So the outro I originally filmed corrupted or something, so I'm filming a new one. The Final Girls is a really good time. It's entertaining, has a lot of heart and soul in it, and it's easily become one of my top 10, I would even say top 5 favorite movies of all time, really. I highly recommend anyone watching this video to go out and watch it, even if you watched my whole spoiler recap of it. It's definitely worth the watch. If I can get at least one person who watched this video to go see the movie, then I did my job. The film has pretty good reviews from what I've seen, and I'm pretty sure it did well in the box office, though I don't really know. But I don't really hear anyone like ever talking about it, so I just kind of wanted to spread the word of The Final Girls. There's a blooper reel at the end of the credits of the movie, and it shows the cast and crew laughing. They all look like they had a bunch of fun making the movie. From all accounts, I could tell the director is really awesome, and I believe all of that really shows through onto the screen. I also want to give a quick shout out to the cinematographer. I believe it's pronounced Eli Smolkin. Every shot he does in this movie is beautiful and top notch. I mean, yeah. So yeah, I want to say thank you for watching my review and breakdown of The Final Girls from 2015. If anyone wants a commentary track, please leave it in the comments. Let me know. I would love to sit and record one. Thinking of adding it to Patreon or just doing free commentary tracks for people. So please go ahead and leave that in the comments. Let me know. With the New Year's coming up, I'm planning on doing weekly uploads again every Friday. I know I've said that 1,000 times before. But I'm feeling newly motivated. I'm probably not going to focus on series as much. So, for example, if I do Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm not going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Freddy's Dead, so on. I'll probably do the first one and mention some of the others, and probably part 2, because I think part 2 is the best one. It's the one I watched the most as a kid, so. But basically, I'm just going to focus on movies I like, and not obscure, but movies I just want more people to see. I'm still going to take suggestions, so just leave it in the comments any movie you want me to break down or talk about, and maybe I'll do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please leave a like and share it so others can see. And like I said, let me know in the comments any other movie you would like me to check out, and let me know what you thought about The Final Girls if you did watch it. Alright, thank you again, and have a good one.